10 Americans will be involved in an alcohol-related crash at some point in their lives. Being under the influence and getting behind the wheel is something that I'm very against. My neighbor happened to be drinking one night and driving home from a friend's house. As he was driving home, he fell asleep behind the wheel, drove up onto a curb, hit a traffic light pole. He ended up flipping and totaling his car. He is so lucky that he was so messed up and drunk that he didn't freak out and get all tense. He walked away from the scene with just a few scratches. If there was someone in the passenger side, they would have been severely injured or even killed, because as he rolled up onto the right side of the curb, he flipped his car about 2 times. He's also very lucky to not hit anyone else, nor was anyone else in the car with him. He was only 17 at the time, but it all had to go on his record. Now, after this story, I am so much more cautious and motherly of who drives home after the scene or after the party. Raise your hand if you're under the age 21. Okay, did you know that, that car crashes are the heading causes of death among the people 15 to 20? According to Edgar Snyder and Associates, about 1,900 people under the age of 21 die every year from car crashes involving underage drinking in the United States alone. As young adults, we are in a delicate stage of our lives and are exploring and experiencing new things. Being that we are in college and have a newfound sense of freedom, drinking can be seen as inevitable for many of us. However, the choice to drink and drive is always 100% avoidable. Today I will share with you the main problems with drinking and driving, the causes of drinking and driving, and some solutions and alternatives to drinking and driving. First, I'll share with you the main problems. Driving while either intoxicated or drunk is dangerous, and drivers with high blood content have a greatly increased risk of car accidents, highway injuries, and vehicle deaths. For example, on New Year's Day, 468 people were killed in car accidents. 40% of them alone were from alcohol-impaired driving. Young people are more naive to alcohol-induced impairment of their driving skills. Edgar Snyder and Associates wrote that drinking drivers aged 16 to 20 are twice as likely to be involved in fatal crash as drinking drivers who are 21 or older. On the national level, in 2008, there were approximately 14,000 fatalities due to drinking and driving. Of those 14,000, 2,000 alone were from California. Out of all the states in our country, California has the second highest number of drinking and driving fatalities behind Texas. I want to share with you some other statistics I found very interesting, and I hope will help you make the right decision after you've been drinking to not get behind the wheel. According to the Alcohol Alert website, on average, one person dies every 48 minutes due to alcohol-impaired drivers. For car crashes occurring from midnight to 3 a.m., 66% of them were from alcohol-impaired driving. And nearly 72% of the drinking drivers in crashes are males. So, males obviously can't handle. Now let's take a look at some of the causes of drinking and driving. Although the drinking age is 21, when we go out on weekends to parties, clubs, or even just a friend's house to hang out, the pressure to drink is constantly there. Many people give in and say yes to drinking due to peer pressure without even thinking about what could happen later. Before people know it, after just a few drinks, their vision is impaired and walking in a straight line is not even possible. With the legal blood alcohol concentration being at 0.08, many teens don't realize that they are way above this and should not be driving. But they are faced with the dilemma on whether or not they should drive home. And fortunately, due to their impaired state of mind that alcohol can bring to a person, they think, oh yeah, I can drive home, I'm not even that drunk. And the decision is made just like that. When the choice to drink and drive is made, you are not only putting your life in danger, but also the lives of so many others. Apart from that, if you get caught by the law drinking and driving, you will receive a DUI, get your license revoked, and spend time in jail. The average cost of the first DUI can range from $5,000 to $20,000. And I know I don't have that, so I don't know how many of you do. This is not counting the potential loss of the job, the stress on relationships between your friends and your family because you have to rely on them for a ride, and the stigma of having the DUI just on your record alone. Although the best way to avoid drinking and driving is not to drink at all, the fact is that the choice will not always be made, and here are some solutions and alternative options you can use. The most effective way to prevent drinking and driving is to set a designated driver at the beginning of the night so they know that they'll be responsible for driving you home. Another great alternative to avoid drinking and driving is when going to a party, ask the host if you can stay the night. And if not, and you know for sure that you're driving home or that you're going to be drinking, make sure you have someone pick you up, because there's just no need to get behind the wheel. Even if drinking cannot always be avoided, getting into the driver's seat and making the decision to drive under the influence is always preventable. Since we are in college and having a good time is a high priority to many of us, I'm sure most of us actually, it is understandable that drinking will happen, but the choice to drink and drive has many negative consequences and can always be preventable. I have shared with you the problems that drinking and driving brings, the causes and effects of drinking and driving, and how to avoid the situation altogether. Although death for everyone is inevitable, fatalities due to drunk drivers are 100% preventable. So the next time you get into a car with a drunk driver, or you are drunk and think you're going to drive, think twice and just don't do it. Thank you.
Do you want me to just give you all the times at the end?
No, I need it now, please. Thank you.
6:06.
Thank you. And who did we say was going to do this? Toy was going to do this.
Yes.
All right.
Your introduction was good. It was a good example of a relation to drunk driving. The only thing was, like, you didn't really, like, state your, like, side. It was obvious how you felt about drunk driving, but you didn't really say, like, you shouldn't do this or you shouldn't do that. You kind of just went into it. Your stats are really good. They were really strong, but you didn't cite everything. I didn't say, like, according to, I don't know, daily news. Your main points were good, and you previewed them well. You just have to slow down and not bounce accidentally. You made a really good point, and you added in some comedy, which was good, kind of like cleared the tension of talking about, you know, dead people and stuff. You read kind of a lot from the cards, but you looked up a lot also, and your conclusion was good. So we good.
All right. Go take care of the iron. All right. I'm going to echo a lot of Toy's comments. I think that you did a nice job presenting a lot of information. Sometimes the sources aren't always presented, but there's a lot of data on this particular subject. You've got a nice personal example that you could use. I think you could probably find some very dramatic examples, especially some that have some emotional resonance to them that would pull us in a little bit more. This is really a motivational kind of speech, because obviously everybody knows that you shouldn't be drinking and driving. Nobody says, "Oh yeah, go ahead, get faced and go for a drive." Nobody's arguing that you ought to be able to do that or that that's a good idea. So it's real, and people know that there are consequences, and it's something. The tough part is, why do people make those decisions anyway? And I think that you kind of get to that a little bit by focusing on the particular age group that you spend time on, and then kind of drawing in some scenarios about the pressures that people have. Your solutions, though, I think they're good ideas. There needs to be some demonstration that they actually work. Arranging for a ride ahead of time, for instance, is a great idea, assuming people will realize when they're drunk that they need to ride at that particular point. That seems to be like, I don't want to make light of it, this whole thing that happened with the NFL players a week or so ago. They have a driving service for those guys. All they have to do is call if they've had too much to drink, and you get two guys who had too much to drink, could have called the service, and
I don't even know.
Well, don't worry about it. It's been in the news this last week. A couple of cowboys were in a car accident. One's dead because the other one was driving drunk. And they were both on the team, and it's just a whole bad scene that's going on right now. But they have a car service that's provided for them, and they didn't take advantage of it. So it's one of those things. People make dumb decisions when they're drunk. That's, I guess a lot of the point of getting drunk, so you can be a dumbass. But the real question is, how do we get around that? And somebody needs to be accountable. Somebody needs to be responsible. Whether it is the bar, whether it is the person throwing the party, whether it is somebody, before you walk in, everybody has to give up their keys or something. I don't know, but there's got to be some way of developing this. So you've got good statistics. Like I said, the problem is that it's not really a controversial issue. It's a motivational issue. All right. Thank you.